Hello everyone, Ravinder here once again. Thanks for overwhelming support and a lot of people have subscribed to my channel, which is a good thing because I've just started. Now, today I'll be covering the part 2, special operations. I'll also like to mention that in the part 1, at number of places, by mistake I used the word Baltic instead of Black Sea. Please correct that. For this presentation, I have used a lot of resources and read them and bringing their information to you. So basically today we will see the operation plan as seen on ground and as also envisaged the force employment. So first of all, the operation plan of the military leaders of Russia looks like achieving air superiority by destruction of air and AD assets. Simultaneously, land operations from multiple directions, not allowing Ukrainians to organize defenses and switching of forces. They plan to isolate and create a crisis command at the earliest for immediate collapse of Ukrainian forces, and failing which to build up forces for investment and capture. Isolate built up areas, invest them or capture them, major ones along the border, and failing which drain them of critical resources for subsequent capture. Create maximum attrition stroke capture of military assets, especially assets which allowed Ukrainians to build weapons of mass destruction. So everywhere they have gone in for NPC assets. Bring major part of Ukrainian forces to battle somewhere in an open, away from built up area, must have been the plan, and most probably between Kharkiv and Dnipro, bounded by Kharkiv, Dnipro, and Kiev. Build forces to destroy them in that area, and in doing so, reduce present future pressure in the held areas of Luhansk, Donetsk, and Crimea. So they are also planning for future to ensure that in future nobody is asking them Crimea to be returned and minimize collateral damage. Now the employment forces, basically the forces which have been employed for these operations are mostly the Western Theatre Command or the Western District. It has been employed from north and east with the aim to achieve air superiority and destruction of AD assets, because the Western Theatre Command has itself got a lot of air assets and air defense assets. It is the biggest command. Capture and threaten Kiev, capture, threaten Chernobyl, capture, threaten Kharkiv, destroy the Ukrainian mechanized forces in the area east of Dnipro. So in that open area, they should bring the mechanized forces of Ukrainians to battle and destroy them. Then elements, there are seen elements of central command, as I said earlier also. They seem to be operated in limited manner in the northeast, and probably capturing and threatening Sumy, and probably they might be told to protect the flank of the southern forces. The southern command to operate from south, capture Mariupol, Kherson, Melitopol, and Odessa, and capture the nuclear asset at Zaporizhzhia at for the southern command. One naval infantry brigade switched from northern fleet to Black Sea has been replaced by 155 naval infantry brigade X Pacific fleet, which was used during Exercise Zapad. Now the Twitter I have put this on Twitter, and I'll try and assimilate this through a slide, as also which is kind of similar to what I had told in part 1, how forces are operating. So it is a similar kind of a slide, and declutter it for you. So what you can see is the Western Army operating from north and east, and some elements of, or reasonably large elements I would say, of the central district also operating in the northeast. So from the north you can see the Western Army less the one Guards Tank Army and 6th Combined Arms Army is operating from the north. It has got a large amount of special forces, large amount of air assault forces, So they are operating from north. From northeast is the 2nd and 41 Combined Arms Army of the Central District. From east, a major thrust has been organized for the 1 Guards Tech Army, and the flank is protected by 6th Combined Arms Army. From south, you can see the Southern Army, Southern Theatre Command is operating. So elements 1 Corps and 2 Corps, ex-8th Army are already operating in Donbass area. Black Sea Fleet is operating from south. To give you a view of what kind of a force is there in the Western Military District is given on this slide. So they have number of tank regiments, number of motor rifle regiments, a large number of air defense elements. The Air Force component is not shown in the slide, but which is also again very large component of Air Force is there with Western Military District, large component of specialized forces. Here you can see regiments and brigades. So brigades can operate for a smaller period of time independently, whereas regiments are part of a division, and the division operate as a whole. So humongous amount of forces available in the Western Military District. However, Russia till about as late as 2016 was mostly deployed and organized in smaller forces. From Soviet time they used to operate in bigger forces, but they had come down. After this conflict with Ukraine and after the problems which was created in Ukraine and Crimea, Russians went back again to try and reorganize this army, and actually their equipment profile and their army is actually being reorganized till now. So the previous defense minister was very conservative. He did not plan for so much of army build up, whereas the present Russian defense minister have gone for expansion, building up capabilities, and envisaging the NATO threat, which was actually moving up to their door every day. Now you can see the kind of operations till yesterday, what was happening. There is a sufficient amount of progress of operations in the Kyiv area. Some forces, the mechanized forces, have broken out and have moved in the interiors. They are surrounding Kyiv from all directions. Similarly, southern pincer has been more successful, and the naval forces or the Black Sea Fleet has been largely successful in capturing. They captured Kherson in the initial stages, and now also their forces are moving inwards. There is a lesser amount of progress in Donbass region because of strong Ukrainian opposition in that area. So this is the kind of progress which is taking place. In the northern area, you can see on slide how the operation is taking place. So Sumy is isolated, not fully isolated, under heavy bombardment. Similar is the condition with Kharkiv. Now all these areas, Sumy has been isolated and Kharkiv has been isolated, and the offensive forces have moved in a big way. So towards the north, most of the area has been captured or in the process of being captured north of Kiev. Now we've seen the broader aspects of operations, big chunk of what is happening on ground. In part 3, we will see on ground action, what is happening at the ground level and how Russian army is organized to fight this, and what is the way Ukrainians are trying to defend the ground in smaller bits and pieces. And from these, what lessons can other forces take home? Please continue to tune in to my channel.